Hey, Daniel. What's up?
Hey, man. We'll see if it even picked it up. I guess we're live.
All right. I mean, just like you said last... Wait, hold on. I'm Ben. That's Daniel.
I'm Daniel.
I think we're going to call it Chump Chatter.
Chump Chatter? Yeah. Welcome to Chump Chatter.
Not to be confused with Corn Chowder.
Or the show on Cartoon Network, Chowder.
Clam Chowder? Or is it just Chowder?
It was just called Chowder.
Anyways, as of last week, you said that the most important step is not your first step, but the one after that.
Yeah.
Here is our second
Here's
step.
our second one.
Dude, like, we're halfway there.
Yeah.
Wow, we spent so much time trying to get this ready. I forgot everything I wanted to talk about.
Well, I wanted to tell you about my peanut butter. You asked me if I like peanut butter earlier.
I could care less.
So you could care. Okay. So earlier I wanted a sandwich, and a peanut butter sandwich, just like literally just a little snack. And I opened the pantry and there was peanut butter, and there was no bread. So I checked the fridge. There's no bread there. So I was like, ah, crap. And so then I was like, oh, I remember we have some like chocolate chip Eggo like waffles in the freezer. I'll just toast some of those and like put some peanut butter on them because I really wanted peanut butter.
Yeah.
And then I opened the freezer and the box is still there, but it's empty. And it was a really short story, but basically I was looking for, like, I got my hopes up for all these different things that I could have peanut butter with, and we didn't have any of them. That was it. We didn't have bread.
That hurts me.
It hurt me because I was so excited.
When I need milk,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared because when I look in the fridge, there's at least 3 cartons of milk, and I know that they're all expired.
Yeah, that's weird to me.
But I'm looking at the milk, and I go, it's so close, but it's so far out of date.
Yeah.
First of all, I wrote down a few things that I wanted to talk about, one of which was just brought to my attention by Sable yesterday.
Yeah.
She was mentioning a meme where, okay, first of all, for anybody who does not know my belief that life is a simulation, I'm not just crazy, okay? There's some proof to this. There's this idea of the two-slit theory where particles react differently when they're being measured and observed.
I've told a lot of people about that. Like, I don't
And
even know
they don't know about it.
I don't even know how to explain it to them, but I tell them the best I can. And they're like, you're crazy. But
Yeah, it's this idea that if you shoot, well, I haven't watched a video in a while.
Yeah.
But if you shoot particles at a wall with 2 slits, you would expect, you know, if they were like little particles, they would go and some would go through the slit, and then if there was a wall behind the slit, you kind of see like a shadow made, you know, like there would be like a little line where the slit was. But they noticed that when they didn't observe it, they reacted completely different than what they expected. And then when they did observe it, they reacted exactly like they originally had thought.
Yeah, there was a shift, and the shift only occurred when they observed it.
When they observed it. So when they were watching, when they had a
Yeah.
camera observing the reactions. And so the idea
Like
is...
They knew it was being
it knew
observed.
it was being seen.
Yeah.
It being particles.
Right.
The idea going back to video games, that when you're in a video game like Grand Theft Auto or anything like that, and you're looking in a direction, the only thing in your game that's loaded
Is what you're looking
what's on
at.
the screen. Everything else exists as a possibility. So they act completely different when being observed, because when you turn around, boom, all of a sudden the game loads it up from, what's it called, spatial memory?
Like the cloud,
It-
whatever.
It loads it up completely.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just a quick rundown, bastardized version. But wait. When Sable said, Ben, what if Area 51 is where the simulations are being held? I was like, but hold on. That would make sense to me if real people were inside of the simulation doing things. But what if, like in almost every game, there's a logic room, like in Skyrim? I saw a video on Skyrim where somebody had found the logic room where they would test assets that weren't in the world yet, but they were in the game's code.
Right.
And that's where they would test how things would react. And so if you go in this logic room, you'll see a whole bunch of random stuff that's not actually in the real game. And they will test things. But what if Area 51 is the logic room for our simulation?
Yeah.
We have never seen aliens. Some people have. But they are in Area 51 because they are assets in our simulation that have not been released yet, but they have been tested.
They haven't made it to the final part.
Our logic room is Area 51. They are testing that.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, they're testing that stuff.
Yes.
Sorry, Mom.
So are you going to be there on September 21st when we storm it?
If I go, it is just to watch everyone else die.
Yeah.
I will have watched.
Well, hold on. Will they be dying, or will they be, like, ascending? I mean, like, making it out of the simulation, whatever's out there.
I don't believe it's the Matrix. To really understand how I feel about life, I feel there's basically infinite possibilities. But my main belief, honestly, is I do believe that sometimes when I just sit there and things just like when you look at the TV, I know there's scientific reasonings, but I believe that scientific reasoning is built in code. Or like when you experience deja vu, that's just like the code glitching, or you've
deja vu.
A code that was written over basically a save file. Like you're experiencing the same thing that you've already experienced, but you don't remember it because it's supposed to be overwritten.
Well, when you get deja vu, are you able to predict everything that's about to happen in that like 10-second window span?
No, just the other day.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just the other day, we were at in the back room, and I don't remember who was talking to me. I think it was Brandon was talking to me. And I like sat back and like, whoa! I swear to God, we've had this conversation, dude. Like everything that's happening right now, I don't know what you're about to say. It's like
it's almost as soon as they say it, you know.
You're like, yeah. Oh my God, have I dreamed this before?
Yeah.
That's what's scary about deja vu, and that's why I feel like it could be an overwritten file almost of code,
right.
Or when things just go completely haywire, like they shouldn't happen. Ghosts, doors opening on themselves, if you believe in that. Coding just not being.
So the more you look into it, it
just be a glitch, a bug.
Yeah.
Sleep is a way of code being reset, like when you have to turn off your computer so it'll work again.
Right.
Or I had to turn off my modem for like 10 hours today.
I leave my computer on all the time, and my brother and everyone, they're like, you know, your parts only have like so many hours on them. That's like when a human is like staying up like for days on end. That's why they have to sleep eventually. It has to.
I need to get back in this idea. We need to check out Bright Insight again.
Yeah, that'll have to be like an episode on its own.
Just talking about Bright Insight.
Literally. Yeah.
So I'll get away from that, but I honestly thought it would rock your world more. Maybe I've got more beer in me than I thought.
I think he's being like impartial, you know, because he's.
How dare you be a professional? So I talked about logic rooms, theories, deja vu. Wow, I talked about everything.
Have you heard of Heaven's Gate? The Heaven's Gate, like suicide cult. It was a suicide cult, and like
with the Kool-Aid.
No, not that one. It was a suicide cult. It didn't start as a suicide cult, but it started in like the late 70s, and it went and culminated in like the 90s, early 90s, whatever. But their belief was that aliens. It was like the rapture, but it was aliens instead of Jesus. Just basically. We would get raptured by aliens in like a tractor beam, and 39 people killed themselves collectively to be harvested by the aliens.
Hey, look, you like these kind of stories? Have you ever heard of Daddy Foo?
No.
Dude, in Jasper, Arkansas, a cult was started called Dad. It was, I don't remember if the guy's name was Daddy Foo or if the cult itself was called Daddy Foo. Anyways, if you look up Daddy Foo, it'll pull up. But this guy created a cult where he was supposed. It's been so long, I can't remember. I originally had done something called. Have you ever heard of something called SBC?
No.
It's this idea that people try to commit suicide by using cops to do it for them.
Oh.
Several stories of where people would like. This one particular story where this guy took some hostages and he had a rifle. And then the cops ended up killing him because he wouldn't put on his rifle. When they inspected his weapon, it was empty. Mm-hmm. He had never fired his weapon. It had never been discharged. And it's like, well, why would he ever have a weapon if he didn't plan on killing somebody?
Yeah.
It's the idea that he didn't want to kill himself, so the way to do it was to get the cops to kill him for him.
Right.
And there's a lot of different stories where it kind of supports this idea that people just want to die, but they don't want to do it themselves. Anyways, Daddy Foo was among these stories. The end of it was, I think he was saying that he was like the Messiah or something, and that they took a bus, a Greyhound bus. They took over it and held it hostage on a bridge. I don't know what bridge, but it's in Jasper.
Really?
That happens. It's real close to home. They are on this bridge, and there's a standoff between them and some police. I don't know who all was there. Maybe it was the National Guard. I just know there was a police force there to meet them. Some kind of federal law enforcement. And they get off the bus, and it ends up the woman, because it was a man and a woman, a woman kills the man, and then she kills herself. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I forgot. I wrote it in high school, or wrote about it in high school. And anyways, his like last prophecy was that he was going to be killed by the police or by his wife. Can't remember. But
Facts
to
aren't
take
important.
take his body and put it on his ground, because they had a property.
Yeah.
And that he would arise like 6 days later, something like that. But dude, Daddy Foo, just right near here.
I'll have to look it
Crazy
up.
story. They took a whole bus as hostage.
Yeah, that's insane. That these people believed like they lived in like a group mansion. The Heaven's Gate people I'm talking about. They lived in like a group mansion, and they called it the Craft or whatever. And like they all recorded exit videos as in like they're exiting the craft they're in to transcend to like their next craft. It's super weird. I was listening to a podcast about it, but
Fitting.
yeah.
I love stories like that. Creepy as they are.
Yeah, very interesting.
There's one topic that I did want to talk about, but before I get there, Sable also mentioned you had said something, and she's like, "Is that how you pronounce it?" What was the word? I don't remember what the word was, but it reminded me when I was in college. This idea of people who don't realize that there's two ways to say a word.
Oh yeah.
I'm not talking about like Colorado or Nevada and Nevada. You've heard Nevada? Wait,
I've not heard of that.
what am I thinking of?
I don't know. Nevada and Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Nevada. But
Ben's had a Corona. Well, he's had about 3 Coronas worth. That bottle is pretty massive. Not that matters.
it's fine.
He would have made that mistake anyway.
It's fine. It's not a mistake. I remember when I was at NAC, I was sitting in class. I think it was for sociology class, and this guy was up front saying something, and he said the word "learnt." And I remember these 2 girls in front of me were making fun of him, like heckling him, and I got so pissed off. And I like reached over, I'm like, "You realize learnt is a word, right?" And they were making fun because he didn't say learned.
Yeah.
But it's like they didn't understand that learnt was also another form of the past tense of learn.
Yeah.
And it's like, stop making fun of people for something you don't even know.
Yeah.
I posted that meme. It was like the general population doesn't know what's going on, and it doesn't know that it even doesn't know.
Oh, I saw that one, yeah.
These people making fun don't realize that they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off. There's so many words that they've got different ways of being said, but they're both accurate according to the
Because
dictionary.
they only learned one way to say it.
They only learned one way.
They're like, well, that's how you say it. That's it, you know?
God. Just as soon as Sable said, "Did you just say that?" I'm like,
What was the word that I said?
I got PTSD. You know that meme where like you see the helicopters in the
Yeah.
background, like Vietnam?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do what?
What was the word that I said? I'm wondering now.
Oh, hell if I know. All I can see back is flashbacks of the other word. That
The
I heard.
helicopters in Vietnam?
I don't know if you know this, but I love Seinfeld, like the TV show.
I've never even seen an episode of it, and I didn't know you liked it. Because we've never watched it.
We never watched it, but when I lived home or at my parents' house, I watched it every night for a solid good 2 years. I've got every season of it on DVD.
Really?
I try to model everything. Well, when I'm trying to be funny, like when I'm literally trying to be funny,
Yeah.
I try to be Jerry Seinfeld humor. Like that's the humor I saw when I was a kid, and I thought,
Does he do comedians in cars getting coffee?
yeah, he's a comedians in cars getting coffee,
Okay.
and that's why I wanted to talk about him, because him and Eddie Murphy did a bit on like what is humor. I guess they all do it because they're both comedians.
Right.
Everybody he does it with. He did one with Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
I don't really care for Seth Rogen.
I like him in his movies, but I don't know if he does stand up or whatever.
I couldn't care less if he never did a movie again. But anyways, in this specific episode of comedians in cars getting coffee,
Yeah.
you know they're not in the car when they're getting coffee though. They sit down in a. Okay, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Beside the point. Eddie Murphy was talking about how the way comedians make it is not that they're funny all the time, but they were saying that when you make someone laugh, genuinely laugh one time, you've always got their attention and they always think you're funny. I'm not saying like 100% of the time they're going to laugh at everything you say.
Right.
But Sable might be a bad example because she loves me. But it's like if you I don't know if I've ever made you just genuinely bust a gut.
That offends me that you even say that, because I'm pretty sure like I've laughed like all out a couple times.
But we both know.
Yeah.
I'm not funny. But if
Hold on. I said yeah before I heard what you were gonna say. I don't agree that you're not funny, but I get what you're saying.
If I've ever made you laugh really hard, I've got the belief now. Because I'm impressionable. Just after watching this, I'm like, wow, that makes sense. that, and I'm going to give a little disclaimer. I think it's different for people who also want to make people laugh. So like me, I just get happy to make somebody else laugh. Like things that are funny to me is basically just people's laughter. Like when I see somebody laughing, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, keep it going. So when I hear somebody else doing jokes, I go, is that really funny? Is that really something that's going to make somebody else laugh? Whereas somebody who else is not concerned about, is that actually funny? They'll laugh because they're not looking for, is that actual humor? It just hits them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if that makes complete sense, but
it kind of does.
It's somewhere in cosmic.
I get what you're
space.
saying. Yeah.
So the idea is he did a bit where he's like, I can stand up here and do nothing, and y'all laugh, you know. And he just stands there.
Yeah.
So you hear some laughter. He just continues standing there. They laugh harder a little bit later. He just stands there, and they just have like a roar. And
Yeah, I
it's
think
like,
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Because it's just funny because he's just...
But is that in itself funny, or is it because he's built this reputation? So people go, no, that guy's funny. But they only think that guy's funny because he must have made them laugh, like in their soul, one time. So that's what gets me to like the idea of humor, like what is funny? Because for me, I would watch that and laugh too, just because of the idea of how ironic. Because this guy, any normal time, would not be funny just standing there, but by saying, "I can make you laugh," you know, it's like don't smile.
Yeah, it's
Daniel,
like,
don't.
Well, it's like when you ever been in like church or whatever, you're somewhere and you're not supposed to laugh, but
and things are 10,000 times more funny.
Exactly. So,
when I would be in school and they'd be like, "Don't laugh," I'm like, "What are you gonna do?" I can't help it.
Yeah, I've had several. This one time in like youth class, it was like a small youth class. It was me, my sister Katie, and then 2 like church people that were teaching the class. And for some reason, we found something like so funny, and we were cracking up into our shoulder, like, into our elbows, and just like it was so embarrassing and awkward. But the fact that it was so awkward made it like even funnier, but it also made it worse. Like it was they gave us a talking to. They were like, "We're trying to have a serious discussion."
Don't you dare laugh.
It was bad, but it was so funny. Like I don't know, and why was it even funny? Like it wasn't supposed to.
That's what I'm talking about. Like what is humor? Yeah. What makes somebody tick? What makes them laugh? I don't know. There's a lot of things I can laugh at, and some of them are pretty offensive, so I'm not going to go into it, maybe. But I can find a lot of different things funny, and it's not a set thing. Like, somebody can say a joke to me, but the next person can say something almost identical, and I won't think it's funny at all. It's like intonation.
It's the delivery, the cadence, the person.
Dude, cadence is the word right there. Just the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, I remember the first time I watched him, my mom's ex-husband, I remember he came to visit my half-brother and sister, and he was staying out here at this hotel, you know, across the street.
Yeah.
And I remember I had went there, and my mom left me there for some reason, and Seinfeld was playing. This is the very first time I watched Seinfeld, and even at that moment, I was like, this is funny. I like this guy. And so ever since then, I was wanting to collect his DVDs and watch this stuff. I don't know, like, how does a little kid connect to the humor when he doesn't even understand it? Like, I know I didn't understand. There's tons of sexual innuendos, things I didn't know at all.
Did it have a laugh track? Maybe you were laughing because the people were laughing.
Impressionable?
Yeah.
So I'm told somebody else is laughing, I need to laugh. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been that way to where if I heard somebody laugh, I felt the need to laugh as far as, like, oh, it's funny, I need to laugh.
Right.
I would just laugh if I felt someone's laugh was genuine.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I love a good like belly laugh.
If it's for real, like you can tell if somebody's laugh is fake.
Yeah.
If you know how like they say you can hear somebody smiling on the phone.
Yeah.
I've been told all the time, like if you're gonna answer the phone like at work, that's smile because they can hear it across the phone.
That's what I do at work. Like when I answer the phone, and it seems to make a difference. I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Problem with me is I always have is like this stupid smirk, so I can't stop it anyway. It's like I'm smiling at things.
Right.
It's like, Ben, are you happy? Like, no, I'm fucking depressed. I want to kill myself. You know, it's like I just smirk already, so it's easier to.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just don't understand how people find things funny. So it's not even the things that get said. Irony is always funny. But like Seinfeld, he gets high pitched. He does like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
He does like these high pitched things. As a kid, I thought that was the greatest thing. So
one thing I find funny, or that I have for the past couple weeks, is like almost just shocking humor. Like Like I'll be scrolling and I'll just see something that it's so out of place. Like it's like somebody will post something on Facebook and you're seeing these posts about cars for sale and like kids' birthdays, and then you see this post and it's just like like it doesn't belong. It's so out of place and like just shocking.
Those Tom and Jerry posts.
Yeah.
Where it's like, took my rifle out range shooting. The people at Walmart, or like today, completely taking somebody by surprise. Surprise is what gets somebody laughing too. Today, I was talking about. I don't know if I think I told you. I want to buy. I want to concealed carry. Mm-hmm. After everything that's going on, I want to be able to have protection.
Right.
And one of the guns I wanted was a Walther PPK, which is coincidentally. Maybe it's not coincidental because it is because of Pierce Brosnan, James Bond.
Yeah.
It may sound immature, but I want to be James Bond.
No, that's a good goal.
No, I'm going to change my name legally.
Should. Okay. It's a good ambition.
No, but he uses this old gun. It was made back World War II era, a little bit before. Incredibly popular because of how small it was. It's great for concealed carry because of how small it is. Okay, I'm going too far into it, but basically, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, I'm talking about buying this gun, and Sable's like, Ben, you're getting out of debt just to get right back into it? I'm like, well, it wouldn't be a problem if you would just offer to buy it. And it completely took her by surprise because she was expecting me.
Yeah.
Because of my delivery, I was like so serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's taking people by surprise.
Being too serious, like when I deliver a joke, sometimes is a problem that I've encountered a lot because people never know because I don't know if it's like I don't know what to do or if that's just my style of humor, but I'm pretty like monotone and deadpan when I deliver some jokes, and people literally it's gotten me in trouble because they don't know if it's a joke or not.
There's thousands of ways to be funny, but I think the humor I try to go for, and I don't know why it works. It may not even work. Maybe it's just my.
No, I catch you all the time, like you're quick. Like I'll say something earlier. I was saying something about a pen or writing or typing, and you were like, you said something so quick to it, and it was so funny. Like I don't even remember it now in this instant, but you're quick with your mind. Like I don't know.
Well, that doesn't come easily because I drink too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I think for people who are like that, because I don't feel like I'm like that, and just the fact that you think I'm like that makes me feel good because I see other people do it so much faster, and it's like the idea is like you constantly have to be on guard, like listening for words, and it's tough to do. So when I hear one and I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, oh, there's one right there, and then I can't give it away that I'm trying to do that. So
you never give it away that you're about to do it. That's what I meant. I'll be saying something and you just sort of perfectly in flow with the conversation. You'll say like a pun. You'll sneak like a little, and it takes me a second. Sometimes like, oh, because your delivery is good.
Irony. Mm-hmm. Would that be considered irony? Like you're saying, you got good penmanship. Oh, I don't. You need a pen. I don't know. Irony, tone. Again, I go back to Seinfeld. When I heard him like get really his like high pitched, I feel like that was the most funny to me is when you get yourself. Typically, guys don't talk high pitched. So when a guy's like, "Oh my God," like, well, I can't do it right now. Sable's trying to sleep. Yeah. Well, maybe I should do it right now. I don't know. But getting really high pitched, not like this, but you know what I mean, like almost like screaming, like
I've
yelling.
heard the Seinfeld like voice now.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Trying to do that and irony, and then also kind of like catching you off guard. Where you're serious, and you just say something completely off the wall. Mm-hmm. That gets me every time. Mm-hmm. I can't help but laugh at that. But what about when people like Sable? She'll laugh at me all the time if I fall. If I cut myself, she won't laugh. But if I'm completely fine, how's it funny?
I love watching those videos. We've watched a lot of those compilation videos where people
fail army.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Where they almost like come close to death, but it's so funny because they're.
And how's it funny? I don't understand. I don't understand what a laugh
you're not
is.
Experiencing it's just seeing somebody run face first into a wall and just like it's like wow, thank God that's
I love to watch this stuff. I don't know why though. I don't understand humor.
I also love the faces they get on like there's one where these kids are like bouncing a kid in the air, and when he realizes that it's gone terribly wrong, you see his face and it's like, oh my God. It's funny because you know what you would be thinking in that instant. You're like
genuine being genuine.
Yeah.
So like, in that instance, when somebody's like, "Oh, I've completely lost control of the situation. I don't know what's about to happen," is always funny.
Mm-hmm.
Irony, your tone matters. I don't know. Anyways, when I saw that video, I'm like, man, I need to talk about that because the humor is the one thing that escapes me. I've always wanted to make people laugh. I don't think I'm like. I wouldn't consider myself an unhappy person. Maybe I would. I don't know. But I get joy not out of like doing things necessarily, but just seeing somebody else laugh.
That's deep.
And if I'm the one who does it, I feel even better.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Seinfeld, I would consider it as like a huge inspiration for that. Now, am I good on it? I spend too much time working. I don't know. But if someone laughs at something I say, I don't care if they're laughing at me or...
That's like your practice field, though, for when you're going to be a comedian, just while you work.
Dude, well, hold on. I wouldn't call it a practice field because there's a lot of times that I fail.
Yeah.
I go out to a car and I'm like, what's your name? And they'll say it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I almost got confused with the other cars out here. And it's an empty lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then some of them want like,
yeah.
I'm like, wow, I really delivered that poorly.
No, it's not you, because that is funny. Like I've done that too to people at work. I'll be like, oh, it's $1,000. You know, when they're checking out, I'll be like, oh, $1,000. They'll be like, what did I get? That's that much.
like, honey, get the checkbook.
It's like, oh,
match our assets. Do we have that much?
Right. It's like they just
send back the chowder. Yeah. So people who don't. I don't know. But those are the same people who are like, oh, it doesn't have a price. Right, it must be free.
The price is free. Yeah, and that's different because that's never funny. But
maybe the first time it was said back in like 1920. I mean,
yeah, maybe.
But not anymore. I've heard it 50,000 times.
Yeah, and maybe they genuinely think it's funny when they're asking, but I don't
think. I'm not going to speak on it. I still work at those places that rely on the people who say those things.
Yeah,
not going to make a comment.
I really smell that basil. Is it sitting over there still?
No, it's right here.
Oh.
Let the record show. I made a whole bag of basil.
It's basil, by the way. In case you've been looking at it the whole video and you've been wondering.
It's starting to smell like mint.
Are basil and mint like? Does it change into mint?
Hell if I know. Try it.
It is making my eyes water.
But in a good way.
It does smell like mint.
Isn't that weird? I didn't put any mint in there. I also have mint out there growing.
I almost want to put it up to the mic so they can smell it.
Smell it vision.
Yeah.
No, smell a hearing. I don't know.
Smautable.
Didn't you have something written down? Didn't you want to talk about?
I didn't.
You did.
What was it?
Wait, you sent them to me.
I sent them to you. It was
Hold up.
Okay.
I got the best thing in the world. I got the proof and the pudding. I got the receipts, as they say. Okay, we will be bringing Chinese if we come.
Yeah, that was it.
What were you meaning by that?
What I meant, because we weren't sure if we were going to do this.
Oh, that wasn't a topic. Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if you were joking just now or not. Like, that's what I mean. You're sometimes so monotonous.
Let's see. Structure of society and why it's the way it is today.
I don't even remember. Oh, why do we work 8-hour shifts? Why do we have 8-hour days? Like, who made it that way?
This makes me think of something else.
Okay.
A dear friend of mine, who's, I hope, watching this right now, was like, why do things have to cost? Why are things priced the way they are? I now finally have the answer. I've always said socialism. Wow, is this about to get political?
I don't know.
It's not.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've always said socialism is great, except for humans can't work under that way. Like,
yeah.
What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. You want to come over to my house? Fine. But humans aren't good in that way, because if they can take the path that is easiest, they will. So one person will work hard, and the other one won't, and then the other person will go, well, why the heck is he getting the same stuff I'm getting? Anyways, so the reason things cost is because you're spending your time, which is valuable because you don't have an infinite amount of time. Another guy that I watched was talking about, like, why do phones cost $1,000 freaking dollars? And maybe they don't have to cost $1,000, but you've got people going into sulfur mines, their teeth are rotting out, getting the sulfur that gets put in the components of the machines that you're using to compute. So maybe we can agree that, okay, it's not worth $1,000, but what about this guy who wants his teeth, but the only way he will risk losing his teeth is if he gets this much stuff. But this much stuff, it's like you have to have a base somewhere to start being able to trade. I think bartering, money is the middleman for bartering. Bartering is great, and that's basically what we do every single day, except our middleman is money. So if we could, I would like to go to the store and go, hey, I don't know, I'll give you this bag of basil if you give me milk, but they don't want my basil. They want my money so they can buy their own basil and sell that. So bartering is outdated, and we already know we're on the fiat system, right?
Nope.
Money's not backed by gold.
Oh, yeah.
They're just typing it up.
Yep.
Okay. Well, long story short, things have a price just because it requires your time, and time, you have to put a value on it because it's not infinite. If things were infinite, there wouldn't be a problem with what it was valued at. I would love everything to not cost. That is, never mind.
No, that's good. That's not even what I meant, but that's good. I just meant, like, why do we, like...
Do 8 hours a day? Well, over in Europe...
Why do we do anything? Why do we watch TV? Like, what? How do things... Like, it's just interesting to think that way sometimes.
I think the progression of society also ruined society.
Yeah.
Back in the day when we were just hunter-gatherers, you weren't watching TV. You were just trying to make sure you had food in your belly. Mm-hmm. But now that we aren't worried about getting food unless they kill off all the cows, you're not worried about food because you just go to the store and get it. So what else are you going to do with your time? I mean, back in the day, people went to sleep as soon as it got dark until they came up with how to make candles, and then they were doing something else. And then when the candles burned out, okay, well, it's bedtime. I don't know. Why are people the way they are?
I know. Well, that's like a vast topic. But
that is a big topic.
Yeah, but it's just
that could cover a whole year.
It could.
We just found the material.
Tune in next time for Why Are People the Way They Are Part 1
Wait.
3 million.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Just talking about why do we just sit down and watch TV? And
why do we sit down and make podcasts? Like,
hold on.
Why does anybody do anything?
Have you ever heard of the word? Okay, you know the word boring.
Yeah.
Do you know where its roots are?
No.
Because when you want to bore a hole, it's just monotonous. Well, old time augers.
Right.
You know, they'd have that twisting handle.
Right.
It was drilling a hole, but it was like just in the sandy. You know. So when things are boring, it's just like, oh, it's monotonous going on and on and on. I had somebody. I watched a video that was explaining like why things are boring and why things being boring is good. When things get boring, it means your mind is ready for something else, and that means your brain is actively like trying to learn and do something new.
My dad once told me, like, he overheard me saying I was bored or something like that, and he once told me like never to like say that or never to be bored or something like that, because as long as you have your mind, you shouldn't be bored, something like that.
I think that almost ties into what this guy was saying, except for the fact this guy was saying it's actually good if you get bored. That means you've reached your limit.
You get like complacent or whatever. Like, I don't even know if that's a word or the right word.
Yeah, complacency. That means you're kind of just like, complacency is the same as apathetic, right? I think so.
But that wouldn't. You don't want to be complacent.
Right? No,
exactly.
No. But you don't ever want your body to not get complacent. Like, you need complacency so that you don't actually get stagnant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like when you get bored, you don't want to be bored, and being bored sucks. And staying boring or staying in a situation that's boring is like terrible. But if you never get bored, that means your brain like is constantly not trying to grow. It's just okay with what it's doing. It's like when you play the same game for 14 years and you never get bored of it. Is it a bad thing? Or is it a good thing that you never get bored? It's a bad thing.
Let's talk about that a little bit, like Fortnite. Like, my brother's been playing Fortnite since it came out, and he still plays it every day. And, like, I can't play a game like that. Like, I get too bored. Or
Fortnite does something a little different. Constantly updating it, adding new stuff. So, it's still, for me and you, it's a little bit boring. Because, like, we're looking at the idea behind it, when your brother's probably just looking at content.
Right.
So he's seeing new items, new assets, and everything like that, and so he's thinking that's new. He's getting his brain going. He's still young, but for us, it's like, but it's the same thing.
Right.
It's the same game.
Yeah.
Oh, you've added a new gun. Okay, you just retextured something else.
Yeah. Is the cat okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He just cut me off guard. Let's talk about this kitten. I hate cats.
What?
What? No, I didn't say that.
Oh.
No, we have 2 cats only because Sable wanted to bring
You
her
have
cat.
3.
Oh, yes, we have 3.
Yeah. I don't know if you said had or have, but
We used to have 1.
Yeah.
Because that was, Sable loved her little. What is this cat doing?
he just ran into the wall.
She loved this little cat she had. I can't believe she named it Nipples, but she named her cat Nipples. Anyways, well, she doesn't go by Nipples anyways. She always refers to her as Mama. She's like, Mama, and then she'll run to us. I'll run to her. But when she brought that cat in, I was like, I don't like cats. And then I started getting the hair all over me. I'm like, I really don't like cats. Well, this cat had a baby with another cat, and then we got Jewy, Orange Julius Caesar salad, the first. But then she saw this cat over in Berryville. It was like abandoned, stuck in some pallets and dirty. And I'm like, oh my God, the humanitarian in me. I couldn't do it. It killed me. So I'm like, okay, bring him home and we'll try to find someone else to give him to. She brings him home, cleans him up, and she's like, Ben, you need to cuddle with him. You need to spend some time with him before we give him away. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I want to develop memories of something I can't keep,
You don't want that bond.
Well, I knew her.
Yeah.
I knew what she was doing.
Because now you have the cat.
Now we have the cat.
Yeah.
I don't know if I nearly fell in the middle of the story, but I did bond with the cat.
Yeah.
His name's Goose, by the way. He's so adorable.
He has the greatest ears.
I love that cat.
Yeah.
He's a little scary cat.
Yeah, he seems skittish.
Yeah, he's skittish. I don't know why.
He's never come up to me like.
I'm trying to train him to where if I go, look at that. Look at that.
He did it. I don't know if you caught that, but.
You know how you do that?
How?
You smack him in the head if they don't. I'm kidding. No. I would just have something in my hand, some kind of food, and I'd feed him. The other day I was just feeding him roast. That roast from the pho?
Oh, that was good pho. Good roast.
Pho. Hey.
Yeah.
No, it was good. But I forgot that roast was still in the fridge, and so I just fed him with it. Oh, anyways, what the hell were we talking about?
I don't know. We're just shooting the
breeze.
Yeah.
It's just chump chatter.
Just chump chatter.
Dude, I think we need to stick with that.
Yeah, probably.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased because I came up with it.
Right.
Maybe, but
it's good though. I like it. We're chumps and we're chattering.
Let's continue talking about society, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what. So my brother sort of came up with that, but it was just an interesting topic. It was like, because we do have a structure as a society. So how did it get to this instead of something else? Like, why don't we sleep in the day? Well, I know the answer to that kind of, but it just is interesting to think why we do things the way we do them.
I think it has to go in, do you believe in a higher power or not? Because if you don't, and you believe that we're just regular animals, you can look at like regular nature to see why we have the pattern we have. I mean, simulation? I don't know.
Right.
But, I mean, if every other animal, I mean, cats, I can't use them because they're domesticated. Are cats domesticated? Because I know they live in our houses, but they're not like dogs.
No, I know.
Like,
they do. You
don't call them and they come to you.
No, they do what they want. And
I don't know. Am I about to use the wrong word? Ambivalent. They just don't care.
I think that could be the right word, but doesn't.
They don't care what scenario there is. They just make up what they want to do. Maybe the wrong word.
Having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone.
Well, that probably doesn't fit.
It's okay.
Thank you, Brendan. I'll blame it on the corona. So, they're not ambivalent.
Ambidextrous?
Now I can think better. What the hell are you talking about? But, what was I talking about? What the hell?
Cats, domesticated society.
Society, so try to use something that's still in the nature, not domesticated. God, all I can think of are examples of nocturnal animals. Wow, this is awful. But just going back to how humans have been on their whole life, they naturally just...
Well, it just makes sense to be up during the day when you can see instead of...
Well, not even that. Imagine that you're roaming the lands.
Yeah.
Maybe people don't have shelter yet. I don't know. I wonder when people start developing shelter.
I once read that we didn't actually used to sleep all night and we didn't stay up all day. Like it was like a there's this Yeah, the 4-hour thing.
My friend from Egypt, he would often take like naps throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I'd
wake
call
up
him after
super weird
school.
at night, like-
Yeah, I'd be like, Mom, what the heck are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just taking a nap. We're good. I'm good now.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck are you doing?
That's kind of cool because they'd wake up at like 4 or something and then go back to sleep till like 6. They would do something. I don't know. It was just a weird.
But does that
schedule.
work? I mean, is that
I don't
because he
know.
still seemed just as tired as I do,
Right.
and now I feel memory. That's something I want to talk about because I don't ever remember a time where I wasn't
you take
tired.
do you take supplements for that? Like memory supplements?
No.
You should look up
I
lion's
looked at
mane.
B12. I looked at B12, but then there was some other stuff associated with it. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Do I want to have a heart attack just to remember that I had a heart attack?
Basically, everything says it'll give you a heart attack. Like I had just eventually just stop reading stuff like that because it'd be like
You
I would get
stop
prescribed
reading.
medicine for like a cold or something. I'd read all the side effects that have ever happened, and it's like, whoa, I don't want to grow a third hand.
And after a year of reading a book, you're like, nah,
yeah,
I'm okay.
exactly. You're like, you know what? I don't have a cold anymore. Like, I'm okay.
You're like, you just scared the out of me.
Yeah.
No, this is for real though. I mean, you joke about it, but I'm on YouTube and I just like a commercial comes up for some kind of depression medicine, and I'm like, it's 3 minutes. The first 10 seconds told me what the name of it was. I get a little story about, hey, this is Jim.
The next 2 minutes.
The
and 50
next 2
seconds.
minutes is gone. You might suffer from severe anxiety, maybe even increased depression,
You might
suicidal
die.
thoughts. You might die. You might
Spontaneous
kill yourself.
combustion.
That's something that's you don't hear about anymore.
Spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, when was the last time you heard about it?
Recently,
Fuck off. What?
Bright Insight, right? Didn't he do a video on it?
Who?
Bright Insight.
Did he?
Okay,
I
think we watched the video together, but a woman like spontaneously combusted, or she burnt from the inside out. She burnt to death. That's a little dark, though. I don't know.
That is dark. I don't know how that's even possible though, because
Well,
how
that's-
is the
that's the
liquid in
thing.
your body not trying to put it out?
Yeah, nobody knows. I
And
don't
what
know.
causes it to catch on fire? I mean, is it even real?
I don't know.
Climate change.
Is this
What?
even real? Is life even real?
I
Like,
do know.
Simulation.
A simulation. It's a bug. That's why they catch on fire
We should call
randomly.
our podcast The Simulation or Simulation Breakers or I don't know.
I think we came across it. Sorry, folks. Chump Chatter is now tabled.
And it's still. I like how we came up with a name in this episode and changed the name in this episode, and we still aren't sure.
Progress, bro.
All in the same episode.
Never stop progress. Never stop progressing. Innovation. We came up with a name and we innovated it.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
What? I can't even think, dude. What's
I don't
going
know.
on?
Do you want to keep going back to the society thing, or do you want to move on?
Society, yeah. I'd love to talk
Yeah.
about society, but what
Talk
else was
about
the other thing?
it.
Morals. Somebody was describing to me how morals don't exist.
Whoops.
When morals aren't real.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, I do agree. Or in a way, I don't agree. But have you ever thought about that?
Yes, somewhat, but I'm gonna let you elaborate because you're talking about like why shouldn't you do bad things like.
No. What makes something bad?
Right.
You know? And we, like all of our laws, all of our laws are based off of our moral convictions. Morals are what society agrees to being as acceptable or unacceptable. But every society has different morals. You know, like people back in the day used to make their heads elongated because that was like an attractive thing, or they'd bring their earlobes all the way down, or they'd stretch their necks or something. I mean, those are all cosmetic appearances, but if you see somebody stretching their neck today, or you see somebody has a baby out and they've got some bandages around its head to try to make
Right.
its skull like an oval, like, oh my God, what the...
I also just briefly I read that they did that because the aliens that brought them there, that's how they looked, and they wanted to.
Imitate that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But how would they have ever thought that's the way to do it?
I don't know.
Dude, humans are crazy.
They are.
Regardless of whether humans or aliens put us here or not, that's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just saying. But like, back to morals, you know, I'm a big time into like the Middle East, you know, and their cultural mores and everything, and how they live over there. And it's like, women just recently were able to. Just now, I think they're able to drive by themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what century is this? I don't even know. That's not rhetorical. I don't even know what century this is.
21st. Right?
21st.
We're living in the 21st century.
21st century, and women are just now being able to drive if they can drive now. I don't know if what I was reading was about. You remember Sophia, the first robot?
Yeah.
She was the first robot to get citizenship in Saudi Arabia or whatever, and she was like a female robot. They were trying to make her like a female robot. They gave her citizenship, and it was like, well, that's hilarious because women don't even have any rights over there.
Right.
But it's like the morals over there about what women can do. Over here, we would go, that's just wrong. Over there, women have almost no rights. They have almost no rights. They can't travel by themselves. I think recently they can start driving if they want to. If you were here and you wanted to go over to Saudi Arabia and you're a woman, you have to be met by like a man. It's like no rights. Over here, we're like, that's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so the idea of morals, they are made up. We have some kind of socially accepted morals across the world, but even those
like what
are relatively
dictates,
made up.
Like what it, I get what you're saying.
And the idea kind of goes back to, well, do you believe in a higher power or not? Because if you believe in a higher power, then he dictates what's right and wrong. But if you don't, then who dictates? You just have to get everybody on board with something. But the majority of us believe that not necessarily killing is wrong, but murdering is wrong.
It's weird to think about. Like, I agree what you're saying.
Everything's fake.
Yeah.
Everything's just. I mean, it's just like money.
I think what you can boil it all down to this whole episode is that we live in a simulation.
We just live in a simulation. We just live in something that we go, that is real. And you have to agree that it's real for it to be real.
You know what's weird? Like we could live in a simulation, not even like a computer. Like, I'm not talking about like a sci-fi. Like, life could just be a simulation, and that's life. Like, it still has a meaning. We're still alive, and we have kind of like
Rene Descartes.
I don't know what that means.
He said, "I think, therefore I am."
Yeah.
It matters not what the purpose you
simulation.
were intended for.
Right.
It just matters that you're able to think that for yourself.
So when I say we could live in a simulation, like, I don't mean like, I'm not like, it doesn't mean it's like, the Matrix, but maybe we do live in a simulation. And that's just life. Maybe life just is a simulation.
That's something that my mom doesn't kind of get when I talk about like, what if there's not a God? She gets really upset with me because she's like, what's the point? But just because there's not something that put you there, why does it have to mean that your life can't still mean something? Even if when you die there's absolutely nothing.
For me, it's always been that, like, this is getting a bit more serious, but like, I've always been like afraid of what's after death.
Well, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then if there is nothing, you won't fear it.
My friend, my other, Paul.
Yeah.
He's like, well, it's just going to be just like before you're born. And I'm like, well, I don't remember what it's before I was born. I won't remember it when I'm dead.
Right, so it won't matter.
Unless there is something after you're dead.
But it's the now when you're like worrying about it or whatever.
Dude, this goes to my belief of memory. My dad was telling me about when he took a psychology class and they went over memory. It's like, you think you remember something. It's like memory in a computer. It's just electrical impulses, and all it takes is they used to create memories in people. Well, they may still do that. They would just hook up electrodes to their head and shock them in different patterns, and it would make people remember different things, just how they got shocked, like actual events that never happened. Or you can have dreams that seem so real, and you don't remember that they're dreams, and then when you talk about them later, you're like, oh, you remember that? And it's like,
yeah, you've like manifested these memories that are fake. Yeah, I think I've done that a couple times.
Every time you recall something, you remember it a little bit different. And so by the time something right now, this moment, 20 years from now, I can remember it completely different. And be like, well, Brendan wasn't there. He wasn't filming nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my whole basis is when I think about how I got to be in this chair at that moment, my short-term memory says, oh, yeah, I went to Wendy's and I came back and I got gas. But it's like, but I'm not doing it now. So how do I know I actually did that? I know it's kind of far-fetched, but it's the idea that your memory can't, they've proven that they can falsify memories. And you're not actually in the present of doing that thing. So how do you even know that that's what you just did? It's this whole idea that you could have had your memories implanted and you would never, it's like Men in Black. You know, they'd flash that thing like, you're having a bad time now, but just give it a few seconds.
Yeah.
If somebody were to plant memories in your head right now, push you out that door. They jump out the window. That's a little far-fetched, but you would never be the wiser because they've given you that memory.
That's like about to make me have like an existential crisis. Like it's crazy. You don't know.
You don't know anything about the world. I mean, it's crazy to think about, and it sounds like a conspiracy.
Oh, it's like
But you don't know anything. I mean, we just assume that everything that we experience is real.
Did you ever watch Doctor Who?
No.
Okay, well there's an episode, or there's a story arc where there's these creatures called the Silents, and when you're looking at them, you can see them and remember them, but when you look away, they're erased from your mind. It's one of my favorites like series arcs, but it's crazy, like, because you wouldn't know. So they would tally their arms. They would look at them, take a piece of chalk or a pen or whatever they had, and tally their arms. And so what would be really scary is when they're having like a good day or whatever, and they start looking throughout the day and they get tally marks all over their arms.
That's creepy.
Like I just got chills talking about it. But yeah, because that means they're there, like in that. There's one right there, but if I'm not looking at it, I wouldn't see it.
So like it's just a blank spot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there's a movie called Memento, where it's this guy. He's got like no memory, so he constantly tattoos himself, and so he looks down and he remembers. Oh, that's what that means. But it's like, I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody who wants to watch it.
Is it a Christopher Nolan movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's like somebody could have walked up to him and drawn on his arm, and then all of a sudden he looks down and he's like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's false memories.
Yeah.
And it's everything you remember. It's like why does life feel so short? It's because you can't remember every day of your life. If you could remember every day of your life, it would seem long and drawn out. But if I go to think back about my childhood, honestly, right now, I can't even focus enough to think that's a conspiracy I want to talk about, is all the preservatives in your food that destroys your memory.
I think it's also your cell phone. Like or focus, not memory, but focus. Like I can't read books anymore because I like have the option to grab my phone and like.
Dude, I'm surprised I'm still talking to you. But am I talking to you? Are you even here?
I don't know.
Am I in a psychosis? Am I in a coma?
Yeah, Ben, wake up. We miss you, dude.
Do you know how many times...
Ben, I don't know how this is going to come through to you, but you're in a coma and you need to wake up.
You know what's scary, though?
I know.
That's what's scary.
That is scary.
Because you don't know. And
you don't know what? What did I didn't say anything.
Exactly. It's just there's so many things in life that... Anybody listening to this will go, that's stupid, of course. I mean...
Yeah.
But you literally, you can't prove anything. And that's not even a problem. It doesn't matter that you can't prove anything. Just the fact that, like when I was learning about AI, and they were making AI be able to have emotions and how to compute emotions, it's like, are they humans? Like, what does it matter if their emotions were coded? What does it matter if we're being made to feel certain things? What you're feeling still is real.
Yeah, it's still...
Even if it's coded, it's still a real
at least
emotion.
To you it is. You know? And that's all that really matters.
Well, yeah, what does it matter past that point?
That's a good quote.
Good. I mean, I wasn't quoting anything, but I'm on.
No, I meant the I think therefore I am one. I was going back to that.
I think therefore I am.
Because...
You know where I learned that from?
No.
People tell me sci-fi is stupid. I learned that from an old Star Wars book.
Yeah, man.
I learned philosophy from Star Wars.
Right. It doesn't matter
specifically IG-88. The most underrated bounty hunter of all time was a droid.
Take your word for it.
You don't have to take my word for it. I got the game.
Really?
He was also in a game. You ever heard of Shadows of the Empire?
Mm-mm.
You see him briefly in the original trilogy. I think it was when the Empire Strikes Back. Darth Vader. He's got a lineup of different bounty hunters. He's got Boba Fett.
Yeah.
This like lizard thing called Bosk.
Yeah.
And then this droid.
Nice.
There's a spin-off game that has... I used to love to read Star Wars.
Yeah.
But anyways, when I read that quote, I was like, I don't really get what that means, but I like this book.
Now here we are.
But now here we are, and it's like...
No, it makes sense.
It doesn't make sense. And maybe what if that's what he was referring to? What if he had those thoughts? It's like...
What if every generation or every couple 100 years, people have this... what's it called that we live in? A simulation. They have this simulation theory or hypothesis, and...
It gets erased.
Yeah. But there's these glitches, like his quote, all that.
This is gonna sound really conspiracy theorist. I'm just gonna go ahead and admit I am one.
Are we just admitting we are a conspiracy theory podcast?
We're just
right
admitting.
now?
We're just admitting right now.
Yeah.
Government, we are not. For repeat, we are not. Okay, they're not listening. No, it's like when people talk about all these different places, we've got terrorist attacks over here in France or whatever, Germany. They're burning refugee places over in Germany. It's like, are they really? I'm not. It's almost like it doesn't diminish the story if it's true, but I don't even know if Germany is real.
That's true. I don't think Australia is real.
I mean, and you can, even if you leave your home to go to these places, you don't know that you're going to the real Australia. It's sounding so. No, it's sounding so wild.
Like yeah, I know what you mean.
What I'm stating is everything we know about the world, we've gotten the information from somebody else. I'm not saying like the Earth is flat. I'm not like a crazy. I might be a crazy person. I don't know. But what I mean is like everything we've ever known, unless you've gone out and done it yourself, you're taking the word of somebody else. I mean, that's good. And it's fine for us. But when people talk about going to these other countries, it's like, you went somewhere, but I've never seen the world. I've never gone out into space. I don't know how big the world is. I'm taking your word for it. It's like, what if there's other things there? It's like when the Bible, when it was first written, there's like 13 books taken out of it. The Bible that you go out buy on the shelf now, if you can even buy a Bible in Walmart or whatever, it's missing like 13 books of the Bible. I don't know what was written in there. What if there's like some divine explanation? What if it says like a clause like, no, God is not real. We've made this all up. But the Catholic Church is like,
that's heavy.
No. Oh. You just don't know anything. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
We don't know anything. We assume everything we hear is true. I mean, like when I got on the internet, I was citing some sources to somebody today. I chose like 6 different links that all kind of corroborated my story. I'm not going to go into what the story was, but the guy still was like, nah. It's like, I hear you, because I'm also like you. You can't believe everything you read on the internet. But what if you read 6 different sources to say the same thing? But what if I didn't write those sources? I haven't gone out and tested all this different stuff. I don't know what's true.
Yeah, that's taking it like to the extreme almost, but it's still.
I take it to the extreme in my head.
Yeah.
When I go out and do my business in the world, I'm like, oh yeah, right, Jim, how you doing?
Right.
Yeah, you're real, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're good.
You just
wait.
You believe your
eyes. Can I
feel
things? Like when I first learned what sight was, like when I look at color, I'm like, your shirt's actually not gray. It's everything but gray.
Yeah.
Gray's the one thing that doesn't get absorbed into your shirt, and it's getting reflected. And when I first learned about relativity, when Einstein had this idea that what if you were in a bus, it's driving away from a clock tower, you're looking at the clock face. You're driving at a normal speed because the speed of light is faster than what you're traveling. You can still see the clock turning like normal, right?
Yes.
You go the speed of light. The light reflecting back off the face is the same speed as you're traveling away from it. So you're constantly seeing the same sight. The clock face will always be showing the same exact face. If you start to slow down, you're starting the speed of light starting to catch up. You're starting to see the clock turn again. You go faster, it starts to slow. You reach the speed of light, it stays the same. You go faster than the speed of light, you're catching up to all of the different frames of light that has already passed you, and it starts to reverse. He had this idea, and that has blown my mind ever since then.
I mean, those are some big brain ideologies.
Big brain. Giant meatballs. Sven!
If you know, you know. If you don't.
If you don't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you knew or not.
Yeah,
I've got a bunch of Svens on my wall. There's Finn. There's his boyfriend.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's the wedding.
That's awesome.
I made all that up.
Well,
partially.
Made up.
Everything is fake.
That should be the name of the podcast.
I mean, he's got some other. Einstein's got other ideas, but yeah, he's got other ideas that completely. I think the problem is I sound crazy. I sound crazy when you take these different things like out of context, but altogether, the video about the two-slit theory, the idea of relativity, like how this really blew my mind, is the idea of like when things get faster. I don't know enough to be able to tell it accurately, but it's basically like relativity is the idea. You're on the side of the road. I'm in a car. I'm going down the street in my car, bouncing a ball. Mm-hmm. To you, your visual representation is this ball is doing this, going across. If you could just trace the ball. To me, the ball is only going up and down. To you, it's doing a zigzag, also going in forward. Right. To me, it's only going one direction. That is the basic idea of relativity, that determining what perspective you're viewing something from changes what it is doing. I watched a video that goes on to explain, like, when things get faster, they'll appear to shrink. So actually, when a train is going at 100, 200 miles an hour, it's actually like a microscopic amount shorter, smaller than it normally is. So when you talk about the speed of light, the problem is you can't make mass nothing. Things have mass, and so you can't ever make it as fast as the speed of light, because like the speed of light or light doesn't have a mass. I don't know, it gets crazy, but the idea that things shrink and how, oh my god, I can't get into it. I'm gonna get read up this next week just to talk about it more, because when I first read it, I was like, no, I'm gonna go play Minecraft for 2 days. Minecraft. The idea of the simulation is that, say there are aliens, we are just now getting to the point of civilization, of technology, where we can make things think that they're real. I guess that makes them real. But like, we can create bots that respond to our words. We can give things emotions, and then it becomes real emotion. We can make logic systems to where they can think for us, basically. The idea is, if we're just not getting to this point, but other civilizations in the universe must exist because of probability, and if they're traveling around, then they must have the technology at least more advanced than us, because they're traveling around.
But we're just now becoming aware of it.
We're just now becoming aware of what is possible. I mean, I don't remember what it was, but I heard a quote. It was about somebody that worked in a patent office saying that everything that can be invented has already been invented. And now we've got people flying on little boards across the English Channel. I mean, the idea is that we think we're constantly done, and we're constantly going further.
Yeah.
So if these creatures, these beings, maybe future us, that have... That's another theory that I've seen, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second, I'm not even caught up on the latest theory yet.
That's the thing. There's a lot of like rabbit holes you can go down.
There's a lot of
are they rabbit holes?
Or are they wormholes? So if things are able to travel light years or through wormholes, they've proven wormholes exist, or whatever. They've got superior technology to us. What if they are able to create computers better than we can? The great idea behind the simulation theory was that we already on Earth, scientists estimate that we can increase the computing capacity of things by millions and millions of percent.
Yeah. To
where, what if we can make a Sims game where the Sims themselves think that they're real? They can think for themselves. And they almost, in a respect, can do that already. That's where the simulation idea comes from, is what if something else coded us because it was so advanced that it can make us think for ourselves? I don't know. It gets crazy. It's... we shouldn't even post this because people are going to think I'm crazy.
We're going to get taken out.
I can really blame it on the corona. You can't blame it on nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I saw this thing that was like... Every conversation we have is just a podcast that isn't being recorded.
Oh my god,
that was funny. We've had some good ones in the past before we started this podcast thing.
We have.
I also saw another meme that was like, millennials are so antisocial that they, anytime they have a conversation, they're like, we should start a podcast. Just because they're talking.
Yeah, I know, man.
But I don't think it's a bad thing though. Like, it's cool to talk.
It is cool to talk, but it's cool to talk and also include
Yeah.
a wide variety of people.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about video games being a problem to society?
Are we getting political?
Is that a political thing?
I don't think video games cause violence at all.
I was talking to my parents, and I think we're safe because what baby boomer would have
Yeah.
tagged along this long in
Yeah,
this video?
exactly.
I told my parents, I'm like, can you believe the stuff that you see? You know, how about violent video games are causing all these problems? And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, what about all the research studies that say there's no correlation?
What
Like,
about me just wanting to raise a farm on Minecraft?
yeah. Well, they're like, well, I don't believe those research. I mean, that data. I mean, that's just made up. It's like, how's that just made up? I mean, why do you refuse to believe it? I mean,
People will believe what they want to believe. That's
it's
the biggest
confirmational bias.
Yeah.
You hear something that clicks with what you already believe, you're
And
just going to
then-
stick with that.
Yep.
But
You can't change some people's minds. Like you
what
can't.
blows my mind is how memes are the new news.
Yeah, that's
Like
yeah.
when I saw a thing that was showing about medieval torture, and I was like, yeah, that's right. There weren't video games back then. Or what about when movies were first invented? I mean, they had the movie Psycho, where the guy was a serial killer killing somebody in the hotel bathroom, you know? It's like, people have always been violent, but now we're thinking it's from video games. And my mom's like, well, it's not your games, Ben. I'm like, Mom, do you know what Gears of War is? She's like, well, we're talking about the dark games that are really, really violent. I'm like,
Fortnite.
Mom, you saw people in half with a gun.
Yeah.
That's pretty violent. And she didn't believe me. So I'm like, okay, pull up YouTube. She's like, oh, why would you even want to play that? And it's like, Mom, you see what I'm saying? I've yet to kill anybody.
Right.
Well, let me rephrase that. I will never kill anybody.
Good save.
So, I don't know, man. I just think everything is fake or it's all real. Does it even matter?
It either
I don't
is
know.
or isn't.
But does it matter? Who cares?
It either does or doesn't.
I'm just gonna. I mean, yeah, it does or it doesn't. It does or it doesn't.
It does or it doesn't.
I'm gonna go to bed tonight. I'm gonna sleep for another, I don't know, probably 2
You're
hours.
gonna recharge. You mean?
I'm gonna recharge. I mean, we plug up our phones. We're basically tethered anyways.
I know.
Who knows? But wow, what time is it? Whoops. It hasn't been that very long. We gotta come up with something else to say.
How long has it been?
I think it's only been 30 minutes. When did
No
we start?
way. No. What?
Oh, we started an hour ago.
An hour and 30.
Okay, what's one more thing? What's
don't know.
one more thing about society that we wanted to mention? Do we want to talk about drugs here?
We can talk about drugs.
I just want to say,
We can talk about anything because this is all just like this isn't fact or anything. This is just we're just
Personal
talking.
opinions.
Yeah, and it's not even opinions. It's just kind of working out. You know what I mean. We can talk.
yeah, we can talk things through,
Yeah.
rationalize it, as it were. When you're a kid, you're very impressionable. Maybe throughout your whole life, you're impressionable. But when you live with your parents, you adopt what your parents believe. Then when you move out, you adopt what your school believes. Or as you grow up, you adopt what your friends believe or the hive mindset. But it's not until after I moved out that I started learning things. 5 years, I'm still going to go, oh, what an idiot back then. Past Ben, you're stupid.
Well, hopefully we're always learning.
Yeah,
You never
hopefully we're
wanna-
always learning. Hopefully we're always developing. I used to be so against drugs, but now I'm to the point it's like, I don't care. Make them all legal. I mean, I'm very liberal in the sense of everybody should be allowed to live their own life.
Right.
As long as it doesn't infringe somebody else's ability to live their own life and be
Right.
happy. And drugs, I mean, I guess in a way can do that, but I don't know. I'm fine with people doing anything they want to do.
To an extent, I agree with you.
To an extent, I guess you could say, but I guess I am the most diehard freedom. Freedom is
Yeah.
worth more to me than the risks.
Yeah.
So, wow. I think I just learned something about myself.
No, I get what you're saying. I've seen that argument before. Just like legalize them all. I mean, I kind of agree. Yeah, like because
My only restriction is, except for the moment that it restricts somebody else's ability.
And then there would also need to be like an age thing because parents wouldn't want their kids. You know.
I do believe in an
Yeah.
age limit for things, At what point do I believe there should be an age? I don't know. I don't know science that well. I've never scienced myself up before.
Yeah.
But let's put our science pants on. Do you have a pair?
No, I forgot them.
Oh,
Actually,
those will work.
yeah.
Do you
In a
have at
pinch.
least some...
They'll do in a pinch.
You're good.
My science shoes are on.
That's the regular science gear.
Yeah.
I've seen it in the movies.
Yeah.
Every guy in the movies that's doing like some kind of like science thing, sitting down hacking computers, they're just wearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What the hell am I talking about?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Drugs for everyone?
Drugs for everyone. Not drugs for everyone.
The ability to to have drugs for everyone.
But what point do I believe that people have the ability to think for themselves? I don't know. I don't even know if I have the ability to think for myself right now. And if you look at any news today, apparently I don't have the ability to think for myself and I'm being brainwashed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I do in a way believe we're being brainwashed. Wow. I'm learning a lot about myself.
We are really
tonight.
delving deep into like
It's getting too
our
deep.
inner selves.
Yeah.
Learning a lot.
Like at what point are you able to think for yourself and not be impressioned? Because even if you go, no, I'm strong-willed, you're not going to bend. Like my dad, he was way against alcohol. Growing up, I saw him drink maybe 2 beers.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell me stories about when he would go over to Germany and people were like, oh, you'll be a drinker before you leave here. So he refused to drink. Just as strong-willed as you can say that is, it's also very impressionable.
Yeah.
He did not allow himself to take a single drink that maybe he would have liked. I mean, he was impressioned the opposite way.
He did
that's
it so
still
that
an
they
impression, right?
He did it because they told him.
Yeah, he did it because he did not do it
because they
told him he would.
Right. Yeah,
Whereas
that's still impression.
We typically think of impressionable as you do what you're told.
Right.
But I also think impressionable is
definitely works
doing
both
the
ways.
opposite.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know if the word is impressionable. I think there might be another word, but that impressionable works too. I think that's right. Yeah.
For now, we'll use that word
Yeah.
until we come up with a better word.
Right.
But the idea, I don't know if you'll ever grow out of that. Maybe we're just defining what humanity is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like everyone listening already knew all this. They're just now getting it.
Wait, people are still listening?
Not that we had listeners in the first place.
Brendan's asleep right now. How's he holding that camera?
I do feel bad that he's just holding it. Like,
look, we probably should have ended this 20 beers ago. A little bit ago, but
yeah,
man,
I think
I just like to talk about it so much.
No, me too. I think we covered some good stuff. I mean, although that's relative. Good stuff is relative. Like, is anything
relative.
good?
I don't know. I'm about to call Einstein up and ask him what he meant by that.
He actually had a small brain, smaller than average.
You know he married his cousin? I had a book on Einstein that I read when I was like, I don't know. You know when they had those like little, you never went to school.
Nope. I was homeschooled. Oh my god.
They used to have these little like book fairs. I think it was called a book fair. Do you remember?
Scholastic Book Fair.
Scholastic Book Fair. I remember one year. I think I was in junior high. We had a book fair, and then I think it was. No. We're gonna settle on either I was in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade.
Okay.
There was a book fair, and I got a book on Einstein. Learned a lot, mainly that he married his cousin, and I mainly learned he married his cousin. Did I ever tell you about how a differential works?
No.
I've been watching these old-time videos, like made in the 50s, about how things work. One video was on how a transmission works. The other one was on a differential. Do you know what a differential is?
Not really.
The idea is when cars were first invented, they were driven. They were called one-wheel drive. One wheel was hooked up to, I guess, the drive shaft of the engine, and that's how it was powered. So, like, one wheel would spin with the engine.
Right.
With the other 3 wheels were free to turn freely on their axles. But they didn't have enough power. It was too much work for the one wheel, so they came up with two-wheel drive. So these 2 wheels were connected to the drive shaft. But the problem is that when you take a turn, this outer wheel has more distance to go in the same amount of time as the
Right.
inner wheel. And so I don't even know which, maybe the outer wheel skids or the inner wheel skids. I don't know which wheel skids, but one of them will have to skid just so that they can constantly be at the same ratio of distance, right?
I get what you're saying.
So they developed this idea that, okay, we'll put this axle, we'll separate it, we'll put spokes on a cog that can turn freely. We'll put this axle, or this would have been the same axle. We'll put this wheel connecting to this axle with another gear with spokes, and there's going to be a kind of like a cog up here. So when this wheel stops spinning, this wheel is able to keep freely spinning. It's more complicated than that, but not really.
Right.
And that's what's called the differential. It was just, I wish I could have been alive when these things were being invented.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
But guess what? We're alive right now while other things are being invented that in 30 years somebody's going to go, I wish I was alive when that was being invented.
that's true. It's a good way to look at it.
And I'm missing it all.
Yeah. But are things being invented, or is everything already like invented, like in the simulation? I mean,
Let's go check out the Logic Room. September.
yeah. I'll see you there.
I'll see you there, bro. One last thing before we sign out. Just forgot. Oh, respect for the things that you have.
Yeah.
I really got this idea from when Bob Lazar and I almost said Seth Rogen. What's his name?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan had this.
The lesser known cousin of Seth.
Wait, are they really?
No.
Okay.
I mean, are
Possible?
they? I don't know.
I mean,
I
Abraham
think he's
Lincoln.
actually spoken on the fact that they're not, but it's neither here nor there.
Wow, he actually had to speak on that because people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he made a comment about like we don't understand the technology that we use. Like we get in a car and we're like, okay, I gotta push to start. So I put my foot on the brake and I push start. And I'm like, okay, my engine's gonna go. And then I push down on the gas pedal. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Right. We just.
But
know
I don't
these-
know what causes that.
Yeah, we just know these things happen. And
Yeah, we know what to do to make it go, but we don't know why it does the way it does. And so that I've had not the same thought, but it was kind of similar back when I was younger. Every once in a while, I get this idea to learn something, so I'd look up how engine works in a car, and I don't know if it's, dude. Basically, we use these things every day that we take for granted, and we don't understand how they work or how they came to be. Another time that it really came to my mind, it was when, say I bought this house and there was a dryer included. The dryer just stopped working one day. It would turn on, but it wouldn't like heat up the clothes or anything. Or the clothes would be really hot, but when I pull them out, they're still soaking wet, you know?
Right.
And when I repaired it myself, and the idea was just everything that we use, we think it's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is so
But
crazy.
then when it stops working, we don't know what to do.
We don't know what to do. But more than that, when you learn how it works, you go, wow, it's actually really simple.
Yeah.
It's just everything cooks down. Like when a computer is complex.
Yeah.
But if you break it down, it's just a series of transistors. You know, is it on or off? Well, if that one's on, then is this one on and off? If that one's off, then it goes to this one. Is that on and off? It's just a series of those, but millions and millions and millions of those in a sequence that tell this thing what to do. I can't for the life of me still understand how that works, but that's exactly how people are able to build computers in Minecraft. They use on and off switches, and it tells them.
That in itself is insane.
Yeah, it goes, is this one on? Okay, if this is on, it's going to go to this one. If this is on, it's going to go to this one. If this is off, this is going to go to this one. That's how everything works. With the dryer, it's just this thing that heats up the inside. You got this drum, it spins, and a fan that blows the hot air out. It heats up the water till it's basically steam, and a fan sucks it out. And that's how your clothes dry.
Well, how'd you fix it? Because my dryer was doing that last week. The clothes would get really hot, but it was just hot, steamy water.
Yeah, your drum probably isn't spinning.
I think my dad fixed it, but how did you fix it? I don't know what he did.
I mean, YouTube. I looked it up. And you know what's crazy is it made me feel so good because I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, what's not going on with this thing? And then basically I took the top of it off, and there was a belt that spins the drum. Mm-hmm. The drum is what holds your clothes. Well, in my dryer, a drum is what holds the clothes. but a belt had broken, and so I went to there's like this. Well, it doesn't matter the name of the store. Anyways, I got a new belt.
I was with you, I think.
No. That's when I bought a door switch. My dryer broke twice.
Okay. So
and both times I felt like I'm a complete boss when I fixed it.
Yeah.
But the belt had broken, which spun the drum. And the drum, the tumbling of the clothes is what lets the steam escape via the fan, whatever, blowing the air out. The fan was working great. The belt was broken, so when I took the top off, I could see this belt's just laying on the bottom of the compartment. I mean, when you look inside a dryer, I don't know what a dryer that's made today looks like. My dryer's a little old, but it's basically just a thing that holds your clothes and a belt and like a fan that blows it out, the ducting. I bought a new drum. I took it to them. I'm like, hey, I want this. Can you give this to me? And they gave it to me. I don't know how much it cost anymore, but put it on, slap that baby, and I was like, this thing can fit so many clothes in it. Hit start, and it's drying. And it's like, it wasn't. There's little things throughout your life that when added up, you go, oh my God. And it was at that moment that I had this culmination of thinking. I was like, wow, the machines that we use are so simple, but we don't know how they work.
Yeah.
So they blow our mind. It's like when I use this computer, it blows my mind because I can't understand it. But if I were to dig down deep, I were to go, it's just a bunch of no's and yeses.
Right.
In a combination. No, yes, A. No, yes, B.
Right. Like when you gain an understanding of something, it doesn't cease to be amazing, but it ceases to confound you because you now know.
I was a tutor in college when I was at NAC because I was really good at math. It's not a bragging thing. I'm not good at a lot of things. I'm good at math. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I can't compute things in my head but I got honors in math throughout school, and so I tried to do tutoring, and I realized it is impossible for me to explain math to somebody because.
Well, I think a lot of people are set on thinking they can't understand it.
They are set on thinking they can't understand it, but it wasn't just that. It was like, when you understand something, it's almost hard to go back to when it felt like you couldn't understand it.
So you don't know how to teach them.
I don't know how to teach it because I can't go back to the point.
You can't stop understanding it.
Yeah,
right.
I can't stop understanding it to go, okay,
right.
What was it like when I finally reached this point? Have I ever told you about autism?
Mm-mm.
There are certain moments throughout my life, I didn't know what the word was, but I'd sit back and it almost bring me to tears, like literal tears, where I would be like hit with this heaviness of like, this is perfect. Mm-hmm. Like I go like, there's rain falling, there's rain falling outside, the sun is setting, I've got a book in my hands, like I'm perfectly content with my life. Mm-hmm. Life is amazing. And I looked it up, and there is a word for it. It's called autism. It's like when you're hit with this pure,
like awe,
dumbstruck
like
awe. Yeah,
awe. Yeah.
AWE. I don't know, and I had that with math a lot. There was, because I mean, yeah, eventually I had to learn these things at one point, and sometimes I'll just be, reading along, and I'm like, whoa, math is crazy. I understand it. I don't know. Wow, I feel like I talked this whole time.
No, I mean, you were talking on good stuff, dude. Like, I'm just here for the ride.
You know what?
Next week, I want to come up with a bunch of things, though. Like, I kind of want to have, like, a list.
We do need a list. And I thought you had written out a list.
I texted it to you, and those are some things my brother really wanted to talk about, like, as well. So I wasn't as informed on them as he may have been or may not have been.
I'm sad that your brother wasn't able to do it.
It's all right. We'll get him in another one. But
I like your brother. I mean, damn,
he's a cool dude.
And he thinks I'm a meth head.
No, but I do want to, like, I've got ideas for future episodes. Like,
well, that's good. Next time, I'm gonna sit back.
Well, I don't. No. We can both mute. Where'd Ben go? People are just listening to this are going to be so confused.
Too late. I already locked the key away. Boom, gone.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's all I got. I mean,
until next time on Chump Chatter. Oh, I'm very tired.
Chump
What time
Chatter.
is it? Yes.
Yeah, it is pretty late.
About the time.
All right. Well, see you guys next time.
Peace.